This has got to be one of the most outrageous events that Wargaming have ever released on World of Tanks console in terms of being able to get the most amount of XP that you could possibly get, even when we compare it to the string theory operation where you can get up to 5 times the XP for a win. And in fact it's probably better than the string theory operation because you can use this every single game that you play. You do not need to win multiple games in a row. This is going to be a couple of gameplays that playing in the Pershing, so the tier 8 American medium tank that is a fairly decent one, and we're going to see what having a fairly decent game, they're not outrageously OP or like crazy, the first gameplay is the best one, and you can see the XP result at the end, but ultimately I want to kind of talk about how you can effectively like triple the amount of time, well, the amount of XP you're getting for the time, and how you can use it not just in the periods of time where these events get released, but in general as well, because, you know, it's all well and good having these events that last, you know, a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever it might be, but ultimately you probably want to know how you can increase the amount of XP that you're doing every single day, every single week, regardless of what the events are. But the key thing that today's video is actually targeted on is the kind of XP with interest event, where you can effectively get 50% more XP if you can get 1000 XP or more in the battle that you're playing. So really simple condition, super easy to actually complete. 1000 XP basically means you had an okay game. Now, doesn't mean you have to have an okay game though, because the XP with interest also counts your double XP wins. So if you're playing on the first win of the day, you will get double XP, so you'll be able to get the interest XP even easier. So it basically counts it regardless of how many battles you played, so you may only need one battle to be able to get 50% more XP in that battle. And if you can consistently deal or get 1000 or more XP in your battles every single game, which is not necessarily the hardest thing to do, it does take a little bit of skill. Obviously you can lose games where you're probably not going to be able to get the interest with XP, but nonetheless you'll still have some really crazy XP results in the end anyway. And one thing that I kind of note is that if, for example, you use XP boosts during this period of time, you effectively get 50% more XP from the, well, every time that you get 1000 damage. So if you get a base damage of 1000 XP, what then happens? Well, you times 5 it, for example, if you've got a 5 times XP boost, which means you've completed the operation 5 times. And yes, it does actually compound, so if you've completed it 5 times, you get 5 lots of 50% XP increase, which, if for the mathematicians of you, is 7.5 times the XP that you would have got from just a game without the XP booster. Now, when you then factor in the fact that you get 50% more XP on the base XP value that you also had, you'll end up with about 8 times XP in your game, which is genuinely crazy, and why I've been able to get games of having like pretty much every game I win of about 20,000 XP every game, going up to the results that you'll see in this when you have a good game. So it's utterly bonkers, and of course the better the game you have, the more XP that you have, which is multiplied, so every single hit of damage that you deal is effectively a ton of more XP every single time. And of course, if you can take out enemies, you'll get even more XP, which is just crazy. And that is why I absolutely love it. The one thing I don't like is the internet connection in the minute, because we're ending up with a lot of lag, and hence why you can see in the gameplays made it really hard to actually make some decent gameplays. And there's so many times where I've pressed the button and then 3 seconds later you're facing the opposite direction and your gun's just fired from behind you. It's a pain in the ass, but nonetheless, we're still having really good games regardless, and we're able to earn this amount of XP. Now, one thing that a lot of people forget as well is that your XP bonuses also included the premium time bonus. So if you've got a premium account, you'll get 50% more XP, and if you play in certain vehicles, you'll get more XP. If you play a light tank, you'll get more XP, and then also the premium bonus operation. So not just your 50% from the premium bonus, but also if you play a vehicle like the Pershing, for example, that has the which is like kind of like the on-track event, but the OP on-track event, where you get 50% more silver and XP in every single battle that you play in any tank leading up to the M48A5 pattern, which is really, really good, and that is why I really do love playing things like the Pershing. We could have gone in after the M56, but we decided now I'm going to play it a little bit smart. We want to keep our hit points because we'll probably take one for going in. And so, although I would have got more XP for getting the kill, maybe we wouldn't have won the game. You know, you have to think of these things in the gameplay and adjust within the games that you're playing to kind of counter that. Now, there's a Panther. He is on a lot more hit points than me, so we're going to have to outplay him. So, got to be very, very careful. But don't worry, our friendly artillery piece takes 700 hit points of damage off of his health, and so it's super easy to now take him out. We don't manage to get the final hit on him, which is disappointing because, you know, extra 60 XP up in the top right corner would have been nice, but it doesn't matter all that much. We'll go after the M41 Walker Bulldog now, who is actually a very decent player. I think he's got 3 marks on his Bulldog, and this is after the kind of the patch for the Marks of Excellence bug that came out, so, you know, actual decent player. So now we can move towards the artilleries, and hopefully we can take out some of them alongside taking out this Bulldog and win the game and get the extra XP. Because it's in this video, we probably do that, but, you know, you can see at the end of the battle, whilst we talk more about kind of maximising the games, and obviously this is really, really applicable to those of you grinding through your tech tree tanks. The key thing being is that if you do play tech tree tanks, you'll get that more XP. And also you can get towards the better tanks, you can move towards them, etc., and you should hopefully be doing much better. Now, our teammates, there is a tank destroyer and a light tank who are kind of sitting still, or at least appeared to be sitting still until they finally woke up and decided, maybe we should move towards the only tanks that are actually spotted right now, and they eventually do. Now, I load a HE round here because I want to get rid of this M12 in one shot, hopefully, and we place a nice one and we don't manage to do it. Nonetheless, we can hopefully take him out in the next shot. The M41 Walker Bulldog also gets spotted. Because of the lag, I'm able to kind of over-rotate my turret, which means it would have been faster for my turret to move than if I was to do it slow, but I actually end up hitting him. It's kind of one of those things you'll get used to if you play with the tanks for a long period of time, you'll know that. The M41 Walker Bulldog with the 3 marks does decide to come around. We do repair our tracks even, and then we finish him off with the nice free aim shot and shut him down and securing the victory for our team. So really, really great result, and of course the bit that you've probably been waiting for in this video is how much XP we made. Now, the base experience, 1,760. Remember, this is times by all of the multipliers that we have on, and we ended up with 33,000 XP in one singular battle for doing 3,634 damage and getting 1,200 assistance. Yes, that's right, 33,000 vehicle XP. And also, if you combine that with a kind of commander boost that you could put on, I didn't for this game, we could have ended up with probably like 50,000 commander XP in one singular battle. So this is the best time, I'm calling it right now, to play World of Tanks in terms of grinding through the tech tree lines. Maybe it's not in terms of the playability, but, you know, make of that what you will. It is an amazing time to play, and I guess we'll take the latter half of this video to kind of discuss the state of the game and whether this is a good idea. So the next replay, Himmelsdorf, but that's not really what we're after in the second half. It's more about whether these events should be coming on, because ultimately this is amazing for anyone that wants to grind through tech tree lines. It's amazing to be able to get to tier 10. It's amazing for if you are a better player. It's probably better than if you were a new player, because you can consistently do the more base damage, which obviously is multiplied. So, you know, instead of taking 100 games to do something, it may only take 10 games to get from a tier 7 to a tier 8, and it might take you know, 15 games to go from a tier 8 to a tier 9, and it might take 20 games to go from a tier 10 or a tier 9 to a tier 10, and I can definitely account for that. We played, I think, not very many games in the Pershing. I think I played it during the ×5 string theory operation. I think I also played it during this operation, and there's been a few minor amount of games that I played during the normal operation, and I probably reckon we've done about 30 games in the tank itself. We haven't marked it. Typically that is a showcase that I haven't played that much of the tank. That's not being cocky, that's genuinely what it is. Usually it takes me about 30 to 40 games maximum to really get a mark on a vehicle, so the fact that we haven't got one is probably a showcase or a testament to that. And so yeah, that's kind of what you can expect from using these operations, and it's all about being smart in World of Tanks, because ultimately I don't want to have to sit and I don't want to have to play more games than I have to grind through stock tanks. I don't want to have to play any terrible tanks all too much, and of course I want to get through the tanks as quick as possible so I can make videos for you guys, because if I don't have the tank to review, I cannot do your requests, I can't do stuff like that, and there is no kind of community contributor account that I can go on to test out things that I don't have, which is kind of something I would have hoped to have for just to test things out, showcase what the tanks are like without having to actually grind through all of them and have them all on my account, because I just don't have the time. I work on top of actually making the videos, so yeah, it's kind of difficult, and I'm sure as you are a player, you don't have access to any of that either, and so you know how long it takes to get to a tier 10, you know how long it takes to get to all of the tier 10s in the game, not just the ones that are available that you want. So yeah, it's super hard to do. I am getting there. We've completed, I think, the British line, albeit the artillery pieces, so pretty decent there, but yeah, at this point in time I'm just trying to get through all of the tech tree lines and get them out of the way, bar the artillery pieces, because they'll be nerfed at some point, at least hopefully, if Wargaming pull their finger out and do what they said that they were potentially going to do, albeit I think that that's probably out of the cards now. I just don't think they'll nerf artillery at all, and they'll probably just keep them the same. Now we're able to start picking up some enemies destroyed within this battle, which is super useful for our XP amount, and because I absolutely love the Pershing, kind of annoyed that, well, I'm not annoyed, I'm just a little bit, it would have been nice to actually play more games in the Pershing, but it's just been one of those tanks that I've managed to play during all of the times where you get all of these XP boosts, so you don't end up playing a tank that was actually very, very good, albeit now I'm on the tier 9, the M46 pattern, which is an amazing tank as well. And I kind of want to use this last kind of replay and also talking about this event to ask your opinions on what you'd like to see from the channel, because we've been going for like a year and a half now, even if not more. It might be coming up to 2 years of solidly uploading videos, so it's not that I'm running out of content. There's plenty of tanks to still review. We can obviously move on to all of the Cold War tanks, but yeah, I'm just trying to finish up the last of the World War II tanks, and then hopefully we'll get some more tank lines coming in, and then we can kind of proceed with the Cold War content, as I'm sure maybe some of you will be wanting, maybe some of you won't, but yeah, hopefully you guys will leave your comments. Let me know whether you think this is good, whether you think that being able to kind of spam out a load of XP in such a short period of time is good for new players to kind of get up through the tech tree lines to catch up, or whether you think it's actually pretty bad and people are just going to be getting to tanks that they shouldn't be in. They've not actually learned the tech tree line because they've just ground through a ton of tanks that they've got there way too quickly. Let me know in the comment section down below, and ultimately you guys are the ones that decide what comes on the channel. I've been slowly introducing a couple of PC videos to showcase different things about the game, not just purely on PC content, but trying to showcase tanks that will be coming to World of Tanks console. But yeah, let me know what you want to see, if you want to see more comparisons between the two, if you want to see more PC, whether you just want pure console. I'm not sure what you guys want, but let me know in the comment section down below. Hopefully you take advantage of this XP event that you just see on screen, where we managed to pick up 28,000 XP in a game where we only did 2,500 damage in a tier 8 vehicle. Yeah, this was unbelievable, and as soon as I learnt this, I have been grinding through all of the tanks that I have available and wanting to get to tier 10. Thank you very much for watching, hope you did enjoy, and of course let me know in the comment section down below anything, any questions, and I will try my best to answer them. Hope you join me in the next video, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.